remember, you're doing this, try to make it where you can do number 3 next to number 4 after we work this one. So number 4 is 6 divided by 7. So go ahead and type that in your calculators. 6 divided by 7, 0.85714, and then it starts repeating. So I'm going to put a bar over it. You put a bar over the digits that are repeating. Yes, ma'am. Okay, step 1 is to multiply by a power of 10. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 digits after the decimal point, and then it's going to start repeating. So my power of 10 is going to be, what do you want to use? It's got to be bigger than 6. 7, okay, so 10 to the 7th. Yes, you can use any number. Someone in first period wanted to do 10 to the 50th. Don't do that. Try to keep it below 10, okay? But yeah, it will all work itself out. We could all pick a different number and we'd all get the same answer. So number 2 is find a unit fraction out of this. So we have 6 over 7 equals something divided by 7, and we're going to need it to be a little longer because we got 6 zeros to put there, times 1 over 10 to the 7th. So this is going to be 6 times a 1 and 7 zeros, which is 10 million. Okay, step 3 is to multiply this out. So what is 6 times 10 million? 60 million. Divided by 7 times 1 over 10 to the 7th. And then step 4 starts all that stuff that we did last week. So we have 60 million divided by 7, and I'm going to type this in my calculator, and I get 8,571,428. So I'm going to take that whole number and multiply it by 6, and I get 59,999,996. And then we subtract, and we have 4 left over, so our remainder is 4. Remember this, on last week we took this 60 million and we're going to rewrite it using this information there. So 6 divided by 7 equals 8,571,428 times 7 plus 4 divided by 7, all times 1 over 10 to the 7th. Yes, sir. I subtracted. Yeah. Good question. The only reason that this one seems more difficult is because it's bigger numbers. Okay? But it's the same process. If you take your time and don't copy down something wrong from the calculator, you should be okay. So step 5 is to break this apart. So 6 divided by 7 equals 8,571,428 times 7 divided by 7 times 4, oh wait, plus, my bad, 4 divided by 7, close that parenthesis, all times 1 over 10 to the 7th. Scoop this up just a little. Okay, step 6 is to simplify all of this mess in here. So we have 6 over 7 equals, remember these become a 1, so it just equals 8,571,428 plus 4/7 is already simplified, so you got to keep it, times 1 over 10 to the 7th. What's step 7? Yeah, we're going to draw arrows to show that we are going to distribute. Step 8 is to actually multiply, so you get 8,571,428 divided by 10 to the 7th plus 4. What would be 7 times 10 million? 70 million. Do you see how small that is? If I tell you that you have 4 out of 70 million people, that's a very small amount of the people, right? Okay? So that's so small that essentially we kind of, this is like rounding. We're just going to be done with it. Okay? So on step 9, when we do scientific notation, we're going to put 8,571,428 times 10 to what power? The negative 7th power. That's our negative exponent rule. And remember, that is really small. And since it's so small, it's going to cause us to round. So instead of putting an equal sign here, we really need an approximation sign. And we get to use our scientific notation kind of thinking here. We start here, and we're going to go 7 decimal places to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we get 6/7 is approximately 0.8571428. Does that match what we got with our calculator? Well, on our calculator it says that it's repeating. And does it look like it's going to start repeating if we would have done more decimal places? Yeah, and this is an approximation, which means that we have rounded as far as we know. Yes, sir? Yeah, we're going to kind of ignore this because it's so small. And it's the rounding piece to it. Yes. And so here's our final answer. See if I can fit it all on the screen at one time. Oh, yeah. All right, get out the highlighters. Okay, I'm going to read the step and give you 3 seconds to highlight it before I highlight it. So I want you to try to see if you're going to highlight the correct spot. So step 1 is to multiply the fraction by a power of 10. Step 2 is to decompose the fraction, and you need a unit fraction. Step 3, multiply by the power of 10, first fraction only. Step 4, simplify the first fraction. Use division and remainders. Step 5, decompose the first fractions at the plus sign. Step 6, simplify first fraction, use division. 11, distribute the unit fraction. Step 8, multiply. Step 9, simplify using scientific notation. And step 10 would be to add.